This is depressing. Oh, bro, you guys know how happy I was when the Tennessee Titans traded for Julio Jones last year. He's literally, if you're fans of the channel know this, my favorite football player of all time. Literally, it's a long story, not going to get into it, but literally the RBT channel name and this channel itself probably would not exist without Julio Jones. I've told the story a bunch of different places, but just the fact is that this whole entire channel probably would not exist without Julio. And he just got cut today by the Tennessee Titans. And it just pisses me off because it's so unnecessary. And of course, you have these people chattering out there about the injuries. And the bottom line is, there's a lot of stuff that I know from different people. Like, I don't want to put anybody under the bus. It's not my place to do so. But there's a lot more than, like, what you guys just see. Like, there's just so much more. And the people chirping about the injuries that he went through last year, a lot of it is just very, very, very bad mismanagement of Julio Jones and his health. Like, the Titans' entire philosophy behind this was just to have him healthy for the playoffs. A lot of the times he was missing in series, missing in games, coming out of games early. It was just precautionary. Like, if it needed to be, Julio Jones probably could have played almost every single game this year. It was just a lot of anal, over mismanagement, in my opinion. Like, yeah, I know there was probably times where he did tweak his hamstring, but he's probably still could have played. But the whole point of this is just, everything is just not as simple as it seems. And that's another reason why this move confuses me so much. Number one, yeah, you cut him to get rid of his cap hit, but it doesn't help the team at all right now because they don't even get that money until June 1st. So pretty much all of the good free agents, of course they're going to be gone by June 1st. Number two, number one need this offseason, the wide receiver core. AJ, Julio, they had to add to that. And what do? They take one of the two away. What are they going to do? Yeah, they can draft a receiver in the first round, but the receiver core is just going to be exactly where it was last year. There's just so many questions about this that this does not make sense at all. The whole entire philosophy with the Titans and Julio Jones was managing him so he could be healthy for the playoffs. And what do you know? Julio Jones was healthy and ready for the playoff run. The playoff run that lasted an entire one game because of our extremely incompetent quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. Julio even had a decent game that week. And in the games that he played and when he was in the game, he was actually pretty solid. But the problem lied in the fact that Ryan Tannehill, Julio Jones, had no chemistry whatsoever. Why? Because the Titans micromanaged him so much, they didn't have the reps, they didn't have the time, they didn't have the practice time to increase that chemistry between the two, which is so vital when it comes to quarterbacks and wide receivers once you get to the professional level. And the Titans, with their micromanagement, they just did not allow for that to happen. That's why you saw Julio Jones open a lot. You saw Julio Jones not getting targeted just because Ryan Tannehill obviously was a lot more confident in AJ Brown because he's had a few more years with him than Julio. I just don't understand how your number one need going into the offseason is the wide receiver core. Then you go and cut one of the greatest wide receivers to ever play the position. It just makes no sense. And I just don't understand it. A lot of people are saying this is to free up money right now to get a replacement, get a wide receiver, sign somebody, maybe a veteran. Why not just keep Julio Jones? That's beside the fact they don't even get that money to spend until June 1st. Who's going to be available June 1st, dude? Yeah, go out round number one, get a guy like Jameson Williams, get a guy like Chris Olave, get a guy like Garrett Wilson, somebody that falls to that point. But they're just right back to where they were last year, which is two solid receivers. And one thing people aren't really talking about is the fact, obviously, I love AJ Brown. I think one of the most underrated receivers in the league. He also was banged up quite a bit last year. So now, as of right now, we have AJ Brown and a bunch of crap. No receiving threats at tight end. The best receiver we have outside of AJ Brown is Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. That's a problem. That's a really big problem, especially when you go into this offseason trying to bolster the offense around Ryan Tannehill because he's so incompetent when the games mean the most. You have to have weapons around him so good to make this offense work and to make this offense click. And when they have the opportunity to add to that this offseason, they just go ahead and take one of the pieces away. Why? And once again, I'm just sad. I'm really sad, but to make me a little bit happier, let's take a quick listen to a word from today's sponsor. I would like to give a massive shout out to Ridge Wallet for sponsoring today's video. I've been using my Ridge Wallet for about a week now, and I'm not gonna lie, I love this thing, dude. It's just very slick, as you guys can tell right here. It is so compact. I have all my cards stored right here. Just press up. I can pick whichever one I need. It's just not a clunky wallet. And it's funny because anybody that knows me knows I hate having a clunky wallet in my pocket. I want something just thin that doesn't like make my pants look all bulky. And the Ridge wallet is the perfect answer to my problem because you see how compact it is. Yeah, I know all my talk right now has been about the cards, but also has a clip on the back if you want to hold some cash. And I'm not the only one enjoying the Ridge wallet because it has over 40,000 5-star reviews. Like, that's pretty solid. I've always tended to have a ton of cards I needed to hold, and it helps a lot because the Ridge wallet can hold up to 12. And what I love about Ridge wallet is the fact their team is so confident they'll let you test it out for 45 days, and if you don't absolutely love it, they'll refund you. And go ahead and take advantage of that offer by clicking the link in the description box below. And it gets even better because if you use code RBT when checking out, you get 15% off. Once again, you can use code RBT at ridge.com/RBT, or you can just simply click the link in the description box below, but use code RBT to get 15% off. Join the club and get yourself a Ridge wallet. And I already know I'm gonna have so many people in the comments talking about how he's washed up, how he's injured. Like, quite frankly, I don't care. Like, I don't care what you have to say about it. Like, I just learned at this point in life, people just say stuff to say it. Like, they don't actually mean it, because most people in today's age lack the critical thinking skills to actually think about what they say before they say it. So quite frankly, I don't care. I don't care what you say. It literally makes no sense at all for the Tennessee Titans organization. But seriously, dude, I can't believe it. Like, they've already cut Roger Saffold, already cut Janoris Jenkins. They already got the money that they need right now. So it's just so unnecessary to cut a guy like Julio Jones when you need to add to that positional group to make your quarterback look half decent. You just take one of the two away. It just blows my mind. But as I've mentioned before, like, I can at least at the end of the day say that I got the rare opportunity to watch my favorite player of all time, even if it was just for a season. Watch my favorite player of all time play for my favorite team. I mean, I have Julio Jones' Titans jersey, bro. Like, that's something that I'll at least be able to remember for the rest of my life. It just makes me so sad, like, just knowing how happy I was. And I wanted to get Julio Jones a ring so bad. I wanted nothing more than for Julio Jones to end at least with one ring in his career, and with that to be with my Tennessee Titans. It would hurt, obviously. It would hurt a lot. But I really hope Julio Jones gets picked up by somebody like, I don't know, the Green Bay Packers, and goes off, has 1,000 yards, and shows what he really can do, and show how much the Titans actually held this team back just because of their micromanagement, all to set up for an historic playoff run that ended in game number 1 when you sacked the opposing quarterback 9 times. Like, it was just, like, everybody looks at things at face value, but everything is just so much deeper than that, bro. Literally, who cares how the season went if you don't finish the season with the win? If you're not winning the last game of the year, if you're not winning the Super Bowl, everything that you went through basically was a failure. Like, what does it matter at that point? Obviously, if you know me, I've been very impulsive over on the Twitter, but, like, I still think everything I say has very valid points. Like, this is scary as a Titans fan. Like, the team we have right now, it's worse than what it was last year. And you take this offense that was so bad in the second half of last year, like, yeah, I know, Derrick Henry was gone. But you saw him against the Bengals, like, as much as it hurts me to say, and I hope I'm wrong, like, you have no idea if Derrick Henry will be the same as he was before. You have no idea, because he definitely didn't show it against the Bengals front seven that wasn't the greatest in the world. So that's scary. A.J. Brown, his health was a little up and down last year, so that's scary. And behind him, who you got? Nobody. You have nobody at the tight end position that can catch the football aside from 1-yard catches on the goal line. So it's scary. It really is. And especially considering the fact how much Ryan Tannehill regressed last season. And the only thing, and I mean the only thing, that makes me even the smallest bit optimistic about this next season is how much our defense improved from one year to the next. With the addition of a few key staff members on the defensive side of the football, we kind of did the same thing this offseason with, the addition of Tim Kelly from Houston. So I'm hoping somehow, some way, even if personnel-wise we're not as good as we were last year, because at this point, I don't see how that's possible. I don't see how it's possible from this point with the limited money that we have to field a better starting 11 on offense next year than what we did last year. I just feel like it's physically impossible, but I'm hoping somehow the additions to this coaching staff will kind of override that, and we'll actually see a little bit more success than what we did last year. Because we're going to have to. We're going to have to if we're going to make the playoffs next year. Because we're not going to get 6 free wins against the AFC South next year. Just not going to happen. That was a fluke. Actually, we lost to the Texans too. We lost to a worse Texans team last year than what we're going to see next year. We almost lost to them twice. So that's scary in its own right. Then you look at our schedule. Bro, we really, as of right now, I wouldn't be shocked if we didn't finish the season 500 next year. We'll probably go something like 4-2 in the AFC South. We have to play all of the AFC West teams, which is basically like a super division now. We have to play at Green Bay. We have to play at Buffalo, who literally 5 minutes ago just signed Von Miller, 33-year-old, to a 6-year deal. Heck, we got to even go to Washington. We probably could lose to Carson Wentz there. We got to travel to Philadelphia. It's hard to play there. I didn't even bring up the point. How silly does it make the Titans look? Not only did they cut Julio Jones when they need wide receiver depth, they did that knowing basically that just wastes our 2nd and 4th round pick that we traded the Falcons last year to bring Julio Jones. I'm surprised that the front office didn't keep him for another year just on the sole fact to make them hopefully not look stupid because they just wasted a 2nd and 4th on somebody they cut 1 year in when that position is the most important position that they need to add to in the offseason. It's like so much stuff right now. This doesn't make sense. And like, what does Julio do? Does Julio retire? I doubt it. Like, he still had, like, when he played, he was good. When he played, he was solid. And there were so many times this man was so open, and Ryan Tannehill didn't target him. But oh no, Titans community doesn't want to hear about that. Jesus, some people were just stupid. It really is just sad though. Like, I just wanted to get him a ring. I wanted it to work. And the most frustrating thing is I really feel like without the micromanagement, it could have worked. It's sad. Like, you get the chance for 1 season to watch your favorite player. You think you're going to have a 2nd, maybe even a 3rd, and just like that, he's gone. Like I said, dude, at least got the opportunity to watch my favorite player ever play for my favorite team. Although, I definitely would have liked to have a 2nd year. I really do feel like, though, last year was our year. We had everything set up perfectly for the playoffs. And the quarterback position just ruins it all. Freaking Ryan Tannehill.